So hi there and welcome to Boxing Media Hub. We're proudly in partnership with Falcon Contracting and Jam's Boxing Chat. And we're here for the biggest fight of the year, in my opinion, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitriy Bivol. And we're going to cover a bit of the undercard too. I'm delighted to be joined by Jack the Punk Kid Hughes, the boxing man, Mr. Ra Hokum, Birmingham's finest Darren Aston, and all the way from Sweden, my good friend Håkan Johansson. Hope you lads are well.
Thank you.
Let's jump straight in on this. We're going to start with a Eubank Jr. against Kamil Seremeta fight. This one shouldn't take long because we all know what it is. It's just to pad his ego, just to get him through. But we'll start with you, Jack, mate. What's your thoughts on Eubank Jr. against Kamil Seremeta?
Yeah, to be honest, I've never heard of this guy before, which I'm probably sure most of us haven't.
He was knocked out by Jaime Munguia and Triple G.
Okay,
he was retired by both.
Yeah, I feel like, as you said, it's just a fight to maybe build something like the Conor Benn fight later down the line, so I could warm up to come back. But yeah, I think it probably will. Eubank will probably stop the guy mid to late.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, mate. Yeah, I'm the same. Boxing man, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Jack, because I was like, oh, I don't know who this guy is. So I literally had a little look around, and Munguia dealt with him very, very easily, and so did obviously Triple G, the Beast. But yeah, this is fair play to Turkey, because obviously what's happened to Joshua recently, and he needs a little bit more entertainment. And what's one thing that Eubank will give you? Will give you entertainment, and he'll make people tune in and click on clips. We've all seen what's gone off today with him and Conor Benn. Whether your thoughts on it or not, of Conor being a bit cheeky by pushing a guy that's weight drained, whatever. But I think this will be an easy night's work, similar to what Jack said. Late rounds, maybe round 8, and then there'll be a bit of a circus in the ring afterwards with Ben trying to get at him and being separated, and it'll all be for the next big Saudi card in February or whatever it be.
Yeah, it looks like February, doesn't it? With the AJ Dubois rematch with a 5-on-5 undercard. So we'll see. Maybe one of them 5v5 that might somehow wangle it to be Ben and Eubank, because Ben's ban will be up by then. So we never know. Mr. Hokum, your thoughts on this one real quick, brother?
You know, the fight in itself, I'm not as negative about in terms of is it an appropriate comeback fight? I think so. Seremeta is the same age as Eubank. They're both 35. Like Eubank, the 2 times he's stepped up, he's been beaten. Weren't blown out. And the question
retired in both, wasn't he? Retired in both.
Yeah,
retired him in both.
Is Eubank better than Golovkin and
Munguia? Definitely not.
I think he's nowhere near him. So for his actual level, it's an appropriate comeback fight. I'm just really disappointed Eubank got on Riyadh season at all. Given the amount of money Turki Al-Sheikh's putting up and the fact that he dug out Canelo for winning easy fights, I'd have thought he wouldn't be giving anyone else well-paid tune-ups, which I'm guessing this is essentially what it is. So disappointed he got on that. But if there weren't so much money getting put up and the big platform, as a tune-up in itself, I think it's appropriate for the level Eubank's shown. But he's been picked for a reason, and so yeah, I expect Eubank to win.
Have they made that co-main event as well?
It is a co-main, believe it or not.
It's not outrageous, in my opinion.
Wardy Clark 2's the co-main.
Okay.
Is it? Oh, because on the flyer.
The fight order on that flyer is incorrect.
Yeah, okay. That makes
they'll
more
announce
sense
the
to
new
me.
one
That's
tomorrow.
why I came into this one first. I weren't going to have it in that order. I weren't going to put it in that order no matter what, because it's ridiculous. There's no way is that fight above Wardley Clark 2 or even Sky Nicholson, Raven Chapman, or even any of the others, Jaya Pataya, Jack Massey. I'd rather see them above this. This, for me, is the worst fight of the night, other than the untested Zero debutant. What's his name? Mohammed Alabel. That's the only fight I would put under this one on that card. Anyway, Birmingham's finest, Mr. Aston. What's your thoughts on this one, real quick, mate?
Well, Seremeta, I know he got stopped in 6 or 7 against Golovkin, but to be fair, he did absorb quite a lot of punishment in that fight. And when you look at the comparison to Chris Eubank Jr., I mean, it wasn't too long ago. He went the distance with Marcus Morrison. Even though he coasted through the fight and boxed and moved and done what he liked, he still went the distance, and he has done with several opponents that he should have stopped. So I'm a bit with Ra a little bit. It's not as bad a fight as some people are making out, but I expect Chris Eubank to win. My original prediction was for Eubank to actually win on points, but for the way he's talking and with the Conor Benn fight coming next, I would like to think that he will go out and make a statement and stop this guy. But he said in the weigh-in just that he's going out to look sexy, and when Chris Eubank says he's going out to look sexy, that means he could be on a box and move job all night. But I expect him to want to go out and really put a dent in him and stop this guy. But you just don't know what Chris Eubank you're going to get. So I would like to say a stoppage for Eubank, but I'm not 100% convinced that could even be a points win for him.
Yeah, that's a fair comment, Darren, to be fair. Mr. Johansson, all the way from Sweden, thank you for joining, brother. What's your thoughts on this one real quick?
I think Chris Eubank Jr. could win on a late stoppage. Sheremetha is a decent operator in a comeback fight for Eubank Jr. And this fight is the fourth fight from the last. So I checked. So Opetaya is after the Eubank fight, and then Wardley Clark, and then better be a bit.
That's a good order. That's a good. I'd rather have the Sky fight above that still. I think Eubank should be the second fight of the night after the debutant, to be honest. But neither here nor there. Before we move on to the next one, guys, Muscle Brown has said, fellas, what's your prediction on Sky? We're going to get to that one, matey, in a moment. Carl Widow's joined us. Good evening, Carl, mater. At least Eubank Jr. will have to fight a big name if he wants to remain on Turkish shows. He won't allow him to just fight bums after this fight.
Great point.
That's true, mate. And look what happened to Mark Chamberlain against Josh Padler. He got took the out. So let's see, mater. Let's see if Eubank can go the same way as Mark Chamberlain. Anyway, next fight then, guys. We're going to move on to Sky Nicholson against Raven Chapman. For me, I'm a big Raven Chapman fan. She's a fantastic lady. She's a fantastic fighter. It's a very big ask against Sky B, Nick. We all know that. I don't even know what to say. I don't want to go against Raven Chapman, but, you know, in truth, we all know I think Sky's probably going to get the decision or get the win. So that's my prediction. Jack, you come in before I say something I shouldn't.
To be honest with you, mate, I've never watched any of them box, so I'll just say Sky Nicholson.
That's what most people will say anyway, mate. And believe me, most people haven't watched them, but they'll say it anyway. The boxing man, how are you, sir? Let's get this one. Sky Nicholson, Raven Chapman. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm not too up on Chapman, but obviously followed Sky Nicholson's career. Big fan of the style and the kind of the ranginess that she possesses, and she puts her punches together as well. So just again doing a little bit of research on Chapman. She's undefeated, right? She goes into it 9 fights. 9
fights.
She's a fan. You've interviewed her. Have you interviewed her?
I've interviewed her. So has Joel, and I've got a signed glove from Maria, and she says she's going to knock her out. So
listen. This is what these Saudi cards do, don't they? We've seen it last week. They change lives. So all the best to her. Just on what I know, and I wish her all the best. Sky Nicholson will take it on a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, to be honest with you, the boxing man. Mr. Hokum, your thoughts on this one, sir?
Like you, got a bit of a soft spot for Raven. I like Sky as well, but I think Raven actually does have a good point. What she brought up in the press conference about the sort of opponents Sky has had, and that's not Sky Nicholson's fault, but I think Raven does have the better fundamentals than a lot of Sky's opponents that she's looked good against. So she is right in that sense, though. A lot of those girls probably don't have the footwork and the ring craft to know how to get closer to her. So I think Raven will make it quite competitive. I think it's going to be quite a close fight. I expect it to go to points because they don't have many stoppages between them. So I'm pretty sure this is going to go the full 10 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if it's close on the scorecards. And yeah, like I said, I've got a soft spot for Raven, so I'm going to pick her on a controversial split decision.
Good man, thank you, Ra. Mr. Aston, Birmingham's finest. Your thoughts on Raven Chapman and Sky Phoenix Nicholson?
Well, I can definitely agree with Ra on. I think the fight will go the distance. I think that's an absolute cert. Looking at the knockout ratio for both of them, this is actually a closer fight for me as well than what the betting odds are. I mean, Raven Chapman, looking at the odds, he's a big outsider in this fight, really. I don't.
Hey, Darren, sorry, before you carry on, you can actually get 50-1 on a Raven and what's his bloody name? The other opponent tomorrow, Bivol. You can get Bivol and Raven combined for 50-1 with one betting company. Mr. Neutral told me earlier.
Well, I've
50-1.
Yeah,
well worth a tenner, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to say, Raven Chapman herself, from what I've seen, is 15-2 to win on points on certain bookmakers, which I think that just alone is crazy odds. They're both undefeated. Sky Nicholson, for me, hasn't really fought anyone of sort of like Raven Chapman's style before, so that'll be interesting to see. But I think Sky Nicholson's got the amateur pedigree to adapt and deal with that. But I do think it is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. But I think Sky Nicholson will just about edge it on points, but probably will be close.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good fight. And Raven bangs a lot harder than her record suggests. I've been told by a lot of people who sparred her that she hits hard. She hits
I was going to say, if you, I was watching the weigh-in before we come on in. She's got some definition, you know. She's got some big biceps, Raven. And I actually thought that. I thought, considering she's got no real knockout on a record, knockouts on a record, she's got some real muscle definition in her arms.
Is there any danger of Sky overlooking her? Is you know, like that? What's happened in these kind of run over fights? Is there any? She overlooking, or is she taking it serious? Do you think?
Well, possibly. I mean, they both seem really confident, but Sky Nicholson, yeah, she's really confident herself, but you just don't know. I'd definitely say this is Sky Nicholson's toughest fight today and toughest style to deal with as well.
Yeah, I'd completely agree. Mr. Johansson, your thoughts on this one, mate?
With the Sarah Mahfoud fight, who was the second best ranked featherweight by the WBC, and Sky Nicholson just won every round. I thought that Sarah Mahfoud could have taken a few rounds, so I was surprised of that she dominated so much against Sarah Mahfoud. I watched Sarah Mahfoud in a lot of fights in Denmark, and she did much better against Amanda Serrano when they fought. Sarah Mahfoud took a couple of rounds, and I think that Sky Nicholson will win fairly easy against Raven Chapman too. I haven't seen any fighter that have been close to Sky Nicholson. Sky Nicholson is too good.
She is that good, Håkan. She is that good. I'm just going to run through a couple of comments, guys, because Carl's giving us loads, especially you, Darren. But we'll start with Sky has too much in the locker for Raven. I think she wins on points, but a one-sided fight. So he thinks it's going to be pretty easy. DJ Pat, all the way from Sweden, one of Håkan's friends, has said Sky will take it, unanimous decision. He's also said Sky has more tools than Raven, more speed and her feet and her ring IQ. Muscle Brown has said Sky's feet are too good. She wins by points. Ross has said, hello, boys. Carl Widow has said, muscles don't win fights. That's Ashton.
He always gets my name wrong.
Remember that fella. That's what he said. Remember that fella. Thank you, Carlos. Jams, take your rose-tinted glasses off. So I'm getting it now as well, bro. Raven gets outclassed here. We'll see, matey. We'll see. I was right about Terry Harper. I can be right about Raven. One thing I know is female boxing, matey. Good evening all from Jabbit Boxing. Big up Jabbit, mate, in Wales. Hope you're having a good evening yourself, my man. It has been a while. Right. So that wraps up the comments. Let's get to the next bout, which is Big Jai Opataya versus Jack Massey. Now, I've got a lot of love for Jack Massey, but come on, who are we fucking kidding here? this is going to be a massacre. I'm sorry, it's going to be a massacre. Jai Opetaia is going to clean him up within a round or two. I hope I'm wrong. I doubt I am. Jack the Pumpkin Hughes, your thoughts, my man?
Yeah, I think Jack gets sparked in 4 rounds. I'm telling you, I think Opetaia walks through everyone. That kid has got serious talent. Like, I even think he would have beat Usyk. Like, serious talent.
I'm with
I
you.
remember when I watched him at Wembley Arena. He fought that, was it the guy from Manchester or Liverpool? I don't know.
Jordan Thompson.
Sorrow.
Jordan
No,
Thompson.
Oh,
Jordan Thompson. I was
Yeah,
at
Jordan
that fight
Thompson.
too.
He did
I
Ellis
was
in the
there.
first round, didn't he?
Yeah, I was there and I was like, wow, this guy is special. Like,
He's a
when you were just
machine.
watching it and you were thinking, this I'm witnessing greatness here. And it was just like that. And yeah, I think he walks everyone, man. So yeah, it's KO, early KO.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jack. The boxing man, you got a question here, mate, from someone called Ross. Thank you for joining, Ross. Please hit that subscribe button if you don't already. He said, question for the boxing man. Did Jai drop Fury in sparring?
Yeah, this is good evening, Ross. Yeah, this is this long-standing story that came out, and it happened to be somebody sent me a text that knew somebody was in the camp that had said it. So I put it out on X, put it out on Twitter, and it went absolutely wild. So he's referring to that. The thought is that obviously the next day Jai was at the camp, and their media teams quickly ran to say it didn't happen and whatever. Whether you think it did or it didn't, somebody that was in the camp had actually watched it happen, and Fury got sat on his arse. But again, all hearsay, and I'm not going to stick my neck on the line and say it absolutely happened, but that's what he's referring to. In terms of this fight, I can't agree with Jack anymore. Like, I'm just so excited to watch this man fight. And just going through the interviews last night, and TalkSport were interviewing him, he just looked like he had the ump. Like, come on, ask me the questions. I just want to.
He always seems like that, though, bro.
Yeah,
he always seems like he's so ready for business. He's
I just want to get in the ring.
He scares me, mate. He scares me.
He just wants to get in the ring.
I love it.
Look, Massey's obviously tough, durable. He's had a good win recently with Chamberlain. But I agree. I've got it down on my prediction as anywhere between round 5 and 6, and it'll just be, for me, it'll be downloading information in the first few rounds, walking him down, backing him up, starting the little shot selection, and then 4, 5, and 6, let his hands go. But can't wait to see him, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, like what Jack said, just climbing the ladder and putting him top of the bill. He's very, very scary and very, very exciting to watch.
Start seeing them big fights down under, mate. You know what I mean? They can sell out like Sydney. You can get some big stadiums on the go. Imagine Jai Opetaia versus the likes of an Usyk or someone like that. It could happen. He could move up to heavy. Usyk could come back down to cruiser. It's not an impossibility. Yeah. We could see them kind of fights, mate. And just imagine that. Or you've got Justice Hooney coming up from Australia and New Zealand as well. Another one on the scene who's going to be a formidable force. So, the future is bright down under. Let's put it that way.
And let's think about it. If that rumor is true with Fury, what Jack said about he thinks he beats Usyk. If at that time he's walking around at 200 pounds and Fury's in camp at 280, 285, 290, and he's dropping him on his arse, he's got serious power with 18-ounce gloves on and headgear. Serious power.
Hey, I'll say one name, Deontay Wilder. I know he's a clown, but he knocked out 42 heavyweights at 216k. You know what I mean? Yeah. Come on. The guy can bang, and he's one of the smallest heavyweights of all time. Don't matter about size, it's about power, and some men have it. Mr. Hokum, your thoughts on this one, sir?
I don't get why Jack Massey is such an overwhelming underdog. I know Jai Opetaia, and don't get me wrong, I love Jai. He's always been great with me, giving me so much time in a way other top fighters don't. But if you go away from the sensational way he's looked against the last 2 Brits he's fought, as it stands, he's only actually fought one world level guy in Breeders, and he's fought him twice. So I don't think it seems almost churlish to say so, but to some extent, I think the jury's out, because I think you need to fight a variety of genuine, proven world level guys before you can start talking about someone, you know, definitively being a killer or being invincible or whatever. So, I mean, people like Chamberlain called Jack Massey basic. I think there's this misconception that just because someone's moves aren't flash, that they're basic. And even if they are basic, some of the greatest fighters in history were basic. Bernard Hopkins was basic. You know, he jabbed and clinched and neutralized and won fight all the way up to the age of nearly 50. Yeah. So although the actual moves might look basic, their mind might actually be very advanced. And I think Jack Massey might well be a lot better than he looks. Looking at the weigh-in, I don't know if you guys were watching it just before we went live. Massey looks considerably the bigger man as well. So I think his size, his durability, you've got to remember, Riyadh is probably as big a puncher as Opatai. You can get him out. I think with, you know, the right fight plan, so long as he doesn't freeze, I think Massey you can make it you can put in a respectable showing. Of course, I don't expect him to win. I think Jai will be the conclusive winner, but I wouldn't be shocked if it went to full with Jack bruised and battered by the end of it, or he might have to really work to get him out there late. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think that the Zorro and Thompson fights probably gave the impression that you can do that to anyone. But those guys
corrupted our minds. It has corrupted our minds. We think he's the British banger. He's just going to bang out any Brit who comes in now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think to be fair, Zorro and Thompson, they're probably European level at best. Is Massey more than that? I think he might be a little bit more than that. So yeah, I'm going to go Jai Opetaia, late stoppage all points. And by the way, I've since heard rumors from someone, you know, he's been sparring in London, that he did that to someone else in sparring. So I don't think
Jai did. Big Jai.
Yeah, I don't think Opetaia is someone who takes it easy in sparring, especially if you take liberties with him. You take liberties with Opetaia in sparring, he'll say, all right, it's for real now. So I would not be surprised if Opetaia inadvertently did cause that first Fury Usyk fight to get postponed.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. You can tell by his demeanour that he's a bad man. He's got bad intentions, Jai Opetaia. You can see it every time you talk to him. Like, we've interviewed him on Boxing Media Hub probably 3 or 4 times. And he's never in a good mood. He's always in that mood where he just wants to hurt people. And that's just a bad man to get in the ring with, because you know he's coming with them intentions and he's going to do his best to destroy you. But anyway, Mr. Aston, Birmingham's finest, your thoughts on this one, sir?
Yeah, I've got to agree with what Raj said, to be honest with you, as regards. I don't think this fight's going to be a walkover like some people think. I think when you compare some of Jai Opetaia's opponents, like we say about some of the UK kids he's fought, like Jordan Thompson. I mean, Jordan Thompson got rattled by Luke Watkins. He stopped him in 6 rounds, but Watkins rattled Jordan Thompson. So I don't think that's any comparison. Ellis Zorro as well have never stepped up to anything at that level. You got to think like Jack Massey, you know, he's been in with Josie Parker. He's been in with Isaac Chamberlain. You know, they're not. I mean, Josie Parker, you can make a case for, you know, he's in the top 6 in the world now of all the governing bodies. So, you know, that's to go the distance with him and stepping up to heavyweight for the first time. He's done brilliant. But I just think he's a tough, durable kid. He's ready to go to the trenches with you. Even though Jai Opetaia's got the skills and he's a super talent, I just don't think he's going to have all his own way in this fight. And I think Massey will be able to absorb a fair bit of punishment. And I think he will probably take it the distance. But I expect Jai Opetaia to probably win a unanimous decision. But I think Jack Massey will make it competitive.
Yeah, Massey's never been stopped either, has he? So, like you said, he's been with the likes of Joe Parker up at heavyweight and never been stopped, so he can take a smack.
Well, if you look as well, sorry, just quickly, Chris Billam-Smith had a pretty tough fight with Isaac Chamberlain. Jack Massey beat Isaac Chamberlain as well. So if you want to make fight comparisons, you know, he's on a good run, Jack Massey. So I don't think he's going to be no mug in this fight. I don't.
He's a tough lad, mate. Jack Massey's a tough man. Trust me. I've just got a feeling Jai's coming out with bad intentions. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love Jack Massey to upset the apple cart, but I just can't see it. Anyway, Mr. Håkan Johansson, your thoughts on this one real quick, my man?
I think Jack Massey will I think he will do a very good fight, and I think he might go to points that Darren Aston thinks, and or late stoppage. I think, and I'm glad for Massey that he got the shot at the European title, and then this fight after being overlooked in the cruiserweight division, and that was the reason why he jumped up to heavyweight and fought Joe Parker in Manchester.
Yeah, this is for the IBF, isn't it? This one for the IBF.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a good fight for him. It's a good opportunity. If Jack Massey can grab this, it changes his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It changes his whole life trajectory. So it's amazing. Right, let's just run through a couple of comments before we move on to the next one. Carl saying he's going off Massey, going the distance with Parker, so I think this goes late. Russ Morgan said, evening, lads. Good evening to yourself, Mr. Morgan. Carl Widder said, props to Jack going from labourer on the site to Saudi Arabia. Fair play to him. Well, yeah, that's it, mate. You know, he's doing well for himself, Jack Massey. He cannot quibble with it. Right, so we're moving on to Ben Whittaker against Liam the Cannonball Cameron. Now, this is a fight that's going to break my heart because I want to tell the truth and I never, ever lie about my prediction. But Liam is my guy, man. He's my guy, and I want him to fucking win. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, I'm going to let Jack the Punk Kid Hughes speak first on this one because I've just got to get my mind together. Jack, what's your thoughts on this one, mate? Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron.
I think it could actually be quite a decent fight. Like, I feel like the verdict's a bit still out on Ben Whittaker. I remember when he fought that...
Leon Willings.
Yeah, was it him? And he gave him quite a hard time. And I think it showed that the flashy style, it may look good against these kind of like lower level guys, but once you get someone that has a bit of wit about them and does the basics correctly, I think he might come unstuck like sooner rather than later. But don't get me wrong, I think he probably does still win this fight. But I think Liam could make it interesting in stages.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. I'm just all about the Cannonball. I just pray he can get this done, man. I'd love him to wipe that smug look off Ben Whittaker's fucking face. Excuse my language, of course, but he, you know, showing off against journeyman does not make you a good fighter. It makes you a bloody bum, man. You know, anyone can show off against journeyman when you're a skilled boxer like he is. You know, do it at the top table. I'll give you your props. Don't act like a bitch, man. Just, I've got no time for him, man. Honestly, he wants to be the mayor of Wolverhampton. Just go do one, son. Anyway, the boxing man, your thoughts on this one?
You all right, Jams? You good?
I'm good. I'm just trying to compose myself, mate. I'm trying to compose myself, to be fair.
Yes, yeah, no,
Really
passion's running through your veins, mate, and I feel it for you.
It is, mate. Got to back your own, ain't you?
You got to back your own. Of course you have, and you got to feel for it. That's why we love this sport. I agree with Jack though. The jury is out for me on Whittaker. Don't get me wrong. It's got, you know, as you say, against the lower level opposition, he's got all the skills in the world where he can show off. His reflexes are unbelievable. But I didn't forgive him coming out dressed as Nas. Like, I'm not ready for that. You know, I didn't forgive that yet. You know, ultimately, like you say, he's fighting journeyman. He's very skillful. I do want him to be good because I want. You know, we crave these big boxing nights, don't we, from British fighters? We want people to be at the top table. I want him to be good. But I'm same as you. I do see that Whittaker will win, could go all the way to points. But I would love nothing more than Cameron to get some life-changing money here and you know what a story he's got anyway. But I just see that it's going to be a very tough night work for him. But the last thing I'll say is Whittaker has to. We can do all the flashness, but he's got to perform. He has to perform because the jury is starting to go out on him. And it's saying, hold on a minute. Somebody that I follow refers to him as a pole dancer. you know,
Yeah.
a male stripper, like he's got all the fancy glitz and glamour. But
Yeah,
we
he's got all the moves and that, but not really doing the punching. You know, look at Ezra Arylenko. He did nothing. He could have got Arylenko out of there in the second round, but he was too busy playing this silly little games, acting like a little showboy. He's more, like you said, like a pole dancer rather than a boxer, and that's what does my nut in. I don't want him representing Britain on the world stage because it'll be embarrassing. He would embarrass our country. I would rather him get knocked out now by Liam Cameron and never see him again. Let him go into politics, mate. That's where the fakes like prosper. Let him go into politics, and he can, you know, live on that side of the world. I don't want to see him in the ring. He's a fake. He's just not real. It reminds me of Chris Eubank Jr. To be fair, mate. Just a fake ass motherfucker.
I love Chris Eubank.
Anyway.
Come on, don't put them in the same bracket now. Come on now.
Listen, and good luck to Liam tomorrow. I think we're all rooting for him.
Yeah, 100%, matey, 100%. Mr. Hokum, you go, sir, before I go to the comments.
You know what? It's another fighter that don't really belong on this sort of platform for me. And again, I'm really glad for Liam Cameron. A bit like Josh Padley, it's great when these guys who applied their trade on the small hall soon get a big opportunity. But in terms of Whittaker, a prospect who's treading very carefully after doing a whole load of talking, shouldn't really get an opportunity like this. If you're still learning your trade, fine. Do it in your hometown, build your home profile. When you're ready for the serious fights, then come and talk to Turkey Al Sheikh. So again, I don't think he belongs on this platform yet. As Boxing Man said, there's serious question marks about him. All that flashy stuff never really offended me personally. It didn't offend me when Naz did it or anyone else. But the fact that, as Naz himself pointed out, the fact that area level guys are taking rounds off of him, that's cause for concern. And that low-handed showboating style, for it to be effective all the way to the top level, you've got to have concussive power. Obviously, Hamed and Jones Jr. most notably, they could make it work, but it's because the opponents know one mistake, I'm getting put to sleep. Now opponents know with Whittaker, we don't need to, we can take risks with this guy while he's clowning about. And sooner or later, he's going to fight someone who's got the technical IQ to exploit those technical flaws. And
hopefully Liam Cameron.
It might well be Liam Cameron, because as it stands, we don't know how far Whittaker's style will carrying him. And the fact that, the guy who he beat in the Olympics is already sort of racing up the levels and he's not, it makes me wonder, does him and his team at some level know where their limits are? I wouldn't be surprised if Liam gives him some serious work. I don't expect him to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close enough that people go away thinking Whittaker got a bit of a gift on the scorecards. Wouldn't be surprised.
One thing you know about the Cannonball Ross, sorry to interrupt you, brother.
Yeah.
The one thing you know about Liam the Cannonball Cameron is he is going to come to fight, and he is going to fight that entire fight. He is not going to stop coming at Ben Whittaker. He is going to go after everything he's got. He really is. He's never been stopped for a reason. He is a fighting man. He's had to fight through much bigger things like the 5-year ban and whatnot. I'm not going to get into all that. We've done it here before on Boxing Media Hub. But he is coming to fight. And he is going to give Ben Whittaker the toughest night of his life, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So, that's my prediction. Whittaker on hard-fought and possibly fortunate decision.
Lovely. Thank you, Ra. Birmingham's finest. And just before you go, Cole's got a little message for you. He said, people from the West Midlands are a bit weird, aren't they, Jams? Look at Mr. Aston. I don't know where that came from or why he said it, but I just thought I'd point it out. Right, your prediction on this one, Darren. Just randomly attacking you for no reason.
Oh, no. That's Carl.
Because me and Carl are East Midlands, you see. East versus West. I think it must be that.
Yeah, we'll get on the 5 versus 5.
That's it.
I do like Ben Whittaker. I actually like his style, but I agree with you. He's very, very frustrating. I like Liam Cameron. I like the story. I like what he's come back from. So I like both of them as fighters, but I think that Ben Whittaker will edge this fight, but I do think it will be a hard-fought points victory. But I think Ben Whittaker's main problem for me is I don't think it. We all know he's frustrating when he's on the offense and the way he backs up and clowns around. But I think his biggest problem going forward is actually going to be his defense. I think he's open to shots. He doesn't tuck up well enough. He leaves his chin open like through his clowning around. And like Ra said a little bit, like, you know, as he goes through the levels, you're going to need a bit more pop. And I do think he actually lacks power as well. So that's where I think, like, if he had the power in this fight, I do think he'd be able to stop Liam Cameron. But I don't think he's going to have the power to do it. And like we all know, Liam Cameron, hard as nails, and we'll rough him up. He had a good fight against Lyndon Arthur last time. Very close. He lost that fight, but it was really close. Good performance. So I think he's got enough about him to create problems here for Ben Whittaker. But I think Ben Whittaker will win. But I think it will be hard fought, and I think it will be on points.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, Darren. Carl's just clearing up something. He said, my comment was in relation to you saying Ben Whittaker is a bit weird, laugh out loud, as he is from the West Mids, like Daz, just to clear it up. So he wasn't attacking you, he was attacking me for saying that Whittaker was a bit weird.
I can take it, it's all right.
He just wanted to clear that up. No worries, Carl. Thank you, mate. Mr. Johansson, what's your thoughts on this one, my man?
First, Cannonball Sheffield Beterbiev Liam Cameron is one of my favorite fighters in the UK. I have bumped into Liam a few times. Been to 3 fights with Liam since he came back, and I got this one from Liam.
It's one of his fight shirts, lovely.
Yeah, his fight shirt, and so. But I think Liam Cameron will do a good fight like he did to Lyndon Arthur. I think it will go to points for me, and I'm leaning to Ben Whittaker on a close decision.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, mate. I want to go Cameron. I want to go knockout. I want to say the spectacular. I want to say Liam's going to come out. Ben's going to be showing off, giving his little fake Nazim moves, and Liam's just going to clap him and knock him out. But in truth, it's probably not going to happen, but let's hope it does. Anyway, let's move on to the co-main, which is Wardley Clark 2. Now, this is an absolute firefight. The first fight was tremendous. I had Wardley winning it personally. I actually thought he won it. I think with a point off and the knockdown, how didn't he win it? But it was a draw. So we'll go again. I'd never argue with seeing it again when it's a good fight. So I'm going to go in this one, Fabio Wardley by knockout. Jack, your thoughts, my man?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't really technically rate either of these guys. I feel like that a lot of that with a lot of heavyweights. Like, technically, I think a lot of heavyweights are awful, but the entertainment value is there because they're big, they're strong, and they knock people out. And yeah, obviously, great fight last time. But yeah, I think if I remember rightly, I think I had Wardley winning it, and I would pick him to win it this time. I think out of the 2, he's got the better skill set, which is crazy, seeing as Fraser Clark was an Olympian and Wardley only had like 4 white collar fights. But yeah, I do think he is technically better, and yeah, I think it would either points or late stoppage for him.
He's got that dog in him, Jack, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He's just got that dog in him, you know, that raw aggression, like he wants it. Whereas Clark's a little bit laid back, a little bit chilled, you know, I'll take it or leave it.
Yeah.
In boxing, man, you need that fucking animal, don't you? Go, rah, I'm gonna get you, you know what I mean? And Fabio's got that shit, hasn't he?
Yeah, no,
he really has.
For sure.
Definitely. Boxing, Mandem, what are you saying on this one?
These next 2 fights, I've been changing my mind every hour, and I've got splinters on my arse from sitting on the fence on both of them, to be honest. But
been there, brother.
Yeah, I've been Wardley all week, but I don't know. I've seen something in the build-up that I like about Big Phrase. I think as well, you probably all agree with this. They've found their level with each other, haven't they? that this might, like, you know, I don't know if there's another step for any of them. I don't know what you know, if they go on to the next level. I don't know, Dylan White, you know, can either of them beat Dylan White? I don't know, styles and all that type of stuff. That's a different conversation. But I think it'll go the distance, and I think it'll be another war. And at this, it could go either way. But I'll stick my neck on the line and say Fraser's gonna get the nod. But if Wardley does it, then I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair play. Thank you, the boxing man. Mr. Hokum, your thoughts on this British title fight? Fraser Clark versus Fabio Wardley 2.
Yeah, like Boxing Man said, so close could be either one of them. I've changed my mind a dozen times, but like you, I thought Fabio won the first fight, but I do think Fraser, he does have more boxing knowledge, deeper rooted boxing knowledge to draw upon, which will enable him to maybe make more of the adjustments. I predicted Fraser first time out, and I thought he would do it by making it a negative, spoiling sort of fight. And I think having had a taste of Wardley's aggression and that dog that you mentioned, I think he will actually this time implement that. I think Fraser will probably box a lot more cautiously and fiddle his way to a points win this time. So yeah, it might actually end up being something of an anticlimactic fight compared to what we got last time. But I think Fraser will this time try and neutralize a lot of Fabio's aggression. And he might stink the place out, but I expect Clark to get the win on points.
Thank you, Rami. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's probably what Fraser needs to do. Big Fraser needs to do that to win this fight. Because if he wants to go toe-to-toe with Fabio Wardley, he's going to get his ass took out. So he needs to literally be smart, keep it on the outside, use that long range, cuddle up when he can, make it boring, spoil the fight. That's the only way he wins, in my opinion. Because otherwise, if you're going toe-to-toe with Fabio Wardley from the white-collar boxing scene is going to knock your ass out. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens, mate. But again, it's an intriguing fight for the British title. It's a shame it's not in Britain, though. Like, I love these Saudi cards, but why the hell is a British title fight happening in Saudi Arabia? Don't get it. Never will. But here we go. Mr. Aston, what are you thinking?
Yeah, very intriguing fight. Obviously, the first one was a British classic, great fight. But I do think this second fight will be different. I think that Fraser Clark is going to try and get a job done by boxing and moving and trying to keep Wardley on a jab and not get involved too much. Which you can make a case that if Fraser was able to do that, he would be able to win on points. But I don't think he's good enough to be able to keep Fabio Wardley off with Wardley's style, the way he comes forward. He's a big puncher. But I think one of the conclusions that I have thought about that no one's picked up on, the injury to Fabio Wardley's nose.
Yeah, that was
scar
bad.
tissue
That was
there.
bad. That was bad.
I do wonder if Fraser, lands a few stiff jabs or a few lefts and rights, whatever, and he opens up that nose. You just never know whether, something like that could stop the fight. I could never see him stopping, Wardley by a knockout or anything, but with the injury to the nose, with the scar tissue and that, it does make me wonder if he could open that up, that, you could have some kind of involvement with the stoppage like that. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen because I want to see, a conclusive winner. But I think Wardley will be able to get to Clark, even though I think Clark's going to have the box and move attitude. I think Wardley still will get to him. And I think Wardley will stop him probably late. But I don't think it'll be the same fight as the first one. I think it'll be more negative due to the way Clark's going to try and implement the game plan.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it's the 13th round and this and that and the other. It ain't the 13th round. It's the second fight. It's a different fight altogether. Both teams are going to tuck away from what they seen from the first fight. They're going to manage that and negotiate that and get through the fight in a different manner. If they go in the same way, either man could lose. No one's going to go into a fight knowing you could lose. They're going to go in there with the mindset of we need to do things different from the first where we got a draw. And to be honest, a lot of people think Clark was lucky to get the draw. So Clark is definitely coming in with a different mentality and a different strategy for this fight.
100%.
I think he's going to be on the back foot. I think he's going to use his range. I think he's going to try and just outbox him, just make it boring, like Jack said, and just make it like a boring bit of a tiresome fight that's not enjoyable. I don't think we're going to get the barnstormer we got last time. I really don't.
Darren, I think I might have seen something either from him or his team that said he's going to try and open that nose up early, and that's actually part of the plan, to try and get that open early to put him off his game.
He's got them long arms, mate. Overhand right on the snout will do it.
Could be a factor in this fight. That for me would actually. You want to see a conclusive winner, don't you? Not something like that. But it is, if it's part of the game plan and he wins like that, fair dues.
Fair play. Mr. Johansson, your thoughts on this one quickly, mate, before we move to the main event of the evening?
The first fight was great, and I don't think we'll see a fight like this in the rematch. I think Fraser Clark will be more cautious and try to outbox Wardley and win the rounds that he could win. But I think Wardley will have some good spells in the fight, but I think it will go to points. And I'm leaning to Fraser Clark on a close decision.
So big phrase for Håkan. Okay, mate. Thank you very much, Mr. Johansson. So we're coming on to the main event then, guys. Artur Beterbiev. Sorry, my dog's just shaking behind me. Artur Beterbiev against Dmitriy Bivol. This is for all the straps, all the marbles, undisputed. Probably, in my opinion, the best fight in boxing. This would never happen without Turki Al-Sheikh, without His Excellency, because no one else would lose this much money on a fight. Because, let's be honest, neither can barely speak English. It wouldn't sell worldwide. This fight is only good to the boxing purists. So this is what we needed, and we've got someone to pay for it. He's probably going to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 million on this. I love it. What an absolute barnstormer we're going to get Saturday night from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitriy Bivol. I'm going to go for Dmitriy Bivol, unanimous decision. I just think his IQ is just so good. I think he can negate the 40-year-old attacks, and I think he'll do the job late on and win it on point. Not comfortably, but enough to be a UD rather than a majority. Jack, your thoughts on this one, mate, on the main event of the evening?
Yeah, Jam, just letting you know, I'm just going to quickly give my thing and then I've got to shoot because my friend's just about to fight. But, yeah, so it's funny because I was watching both of them today, just doing my little homework before doing the prediction. And do you know what's, it's going to be crazy to say, but I was watching Beterbiev and I didn't really see this, like, mad elite fighter, which is crazy to say, seeing as he was a world amateur champion and he's like knocked everyone out and holding 3 belts in the thing. But yeah, I thought he was his guard is very, very wide. He doesn't really like feint a lot. He relatively easy. Yeah, like he's relatively easy to hit.
Callum got him, didn't he? Callum the one got him, knocked him down, the only person to knock him down.
Yeah, and Thingy hurt him a bit. That Yard caught him a couple times and hurt him.
Yeah.
And at times early in the fight, Yard was outboxing him a little bit as well. But yeah, but obviously the man has obviously got something about him and he knocks everyone out. He's got crazy power. But I've always said this, that to be good at boxing, you don't actually need to be good at boxing. You just need to be strong and fit, because most people after 6th round mentally give up anyway. So he's obviously strong, he's fit, he hits extremely hard, and he's got a good chin. So when you put all 4 of them together, you are kind of in a way an elite fighter, because of what I just said, that most people quit mentally midway through the fight anyway. But yeah, and I was watching obviously Bivol, and you said the ring IQ is incredible. The way everything he does, the feinting's good, the jab, the way he judges the range, like just everything, a true elite fighter. So yeah, I'm going to obviously go with what you said, Bivol by unanimous decision is my prediction, but I am going to put a bet on Beterbiev to knock him out late though, just so I'm backed up either way. Yeah. Yeah.
Fair play, Jack. Thank you so much, mate, and bless you for coming through. I really
No
appreciate
way.
it, mate.
Yeah. See you
Everyone,
later,
follow
guys.
Jack on his socials, and God bless my man.
Yeah, mate.
See you, Jack. Right, up next then is the boxing man. Your thoughts on the main event, my brother?
Yeah, I was Beterbiev until last night, and sitting on YouTube watching all the interviews. It was the same as what everybody says. It's going to be scary he's going to get his head jabbed off for 6 rounds, and then he's going to come through and start landing big, heavy shots. However, watching that performance against Canelo from Bivol, obviously Canelo was the monster as well. Different type of monster, but Canelo was
monster.
Canelo was the monster as well. Heavy-handed, walks people down, sits on their chest and throws beautiful body shots. I don't know. I've lent now towards a points decision, and a wide points decision for Bivol. The reason why I'm saying wide is because if I'm going that way for a points decision, I'm going that way based off the fact that Beterbiev can't get to him. And if he can't get to him and land those big shots, and he can ride out those scary rounds, he's going to be in trouble at some point, isn't he? Let's not have it any other way. Bivol's going to be in trouble at some point because Beterbiev's going to land. And obviously, being out here in Canada, a few of the boys made from the gym that I go to made the squad for nationals, and they went out to Montreal, and Beterbiev was training there, and they said to hear him hit on the bag, it's like the whole building shakes. It's like, rah! And so look, if any man gets hit like that, flush on the chin, it's problems. But long way around to saying it. Probably if we speak tomorrow, Jams, I might have slept on it, and I'm going to go Beterbiev's going to knock him out in the 9th round. But for today, we'll go with Bivol on points.
Fair play. Thank you, boxing man. And if you do change your mind, come and join us. We're doing a live watch along tomorrow, matey. You're more than welcome.
Okay,
We've got the former champ Flash Aslane joining us. We're going to be covering the whole fight card. All you guys are more than welcome. You want to come through, come have your say, come do some commentary, whatever you want to do. Boxing Media Hub's got ya. Right, Mr. Aston, what's your thoughts on the main event, my brother?
Well, fantastic fight. It doesn't get any better, does it? They are 2 elite fighters. As you say, like Beterbiev knocked everybody out, and he's just an absolute animal in the ring. But for me, skills pay the bills, and that's where I think Bivol edges that department slightly. You've only got to look at the, like you say, the Canelo fight. Canelo's such a hard fighter to beat, and Bivol, fought superb in that fight.
Made it look easy.
And when I look at like Beterbiev, do I think Beterbiev is a lot more different to Canelo? He's different, but do I think that? I think if he can handle Canelo, I think he'll be able to handle Beterbiev. That's the way I look at that with regards to fight comparison. I think it will be close. I don't think it'd be anything like a unanimous decision or anything like that, because I think Beterbiev will have his moments, but I don't think he's going to be able to land that squeaky clean shot to be able to put Bivol away like he has everybody else, because I don't believe Beterbiev's come up against anyone like Bivol before. So I'm going to go for Bivol to do what he usually does, but obviously his hardest fight to date, but to win a closest points decision.
Yeah, that's fair, Darren, mate. That's a fair call. Mr. Hokum, your thoughts on this main event, mate? It's literally, you can take either man. They are both phenomenal athletes, and both could easily win this fight. Either man could knock either out. No one's saying about Bivol knockout. Bivol can bang, mate. You don't get 13 knockouts on 22 wins without being able to bang. So what's your thoughts, Mr. Hokum?
Yeah, you're right. It's probably the highest level fight in the game, would you say?
I'd say it's the best fight in boxing, by far. And we wouldn't be seeing it without His Excellency Turki Al-Asik. So clap it up for that, for me. Because he literally has given us one of the greatest fights of a generation that we would never have seen, because there was no reason to see it, because there's no money in it. But we've got it. Thank God.
We're privileged. I think for a while now I've been leaning towards Bivol, mainly because of Beterbiev's age and this constant litany of injuries. Now, it's going to take someone as good as Bivol to make it count. But I agree with what Boxing Man said, though. If he's going to win this on points, it's going to have to be quite fairly wide, in the sense that we know Beterbiev doesn't mind giving away a few rounds because he's racking up the punishment. So maybe that's what Jack referred to in the sense that he can be hit quite easily. But I somewhat suspect it's because Beterbiev doesn't mind taking a few early on, because he knows what he's hitting you back with is going to have a much greater effect down the line. So Bivol can't afford to, any other sort of going on the ropes and letting Beterbiev wail away the way he did at times against Canelo. Can't do that with Beterbiev. So he's going to actually have to be 100% switched on for as long as the fight goes on. And that means keeping that distance, which we know he's a master of, and just winning the rounds without taking the punishment. I think that knee injury is going to be a factor. I think Beterbiev at 40, he's suddenly going to find fighting someone with another level of footwork and trying to catch up with them, that knee is going to probably be in pain by around the halfway stage. So I expect.
Can't wait for no man, Ra.
Ra,
Yeah.
what did you make of Bivol's ex-missus coming out with all the injuries that he's had, though, and revealed all the surgeries and stuff? I mean, he doesn't come without injury himself, does he?
Yeah, but who's going to take the words of the ex-missus? I mean, my ex-missus says I'm crap in bed, but my current says I'm the top stud ever. So all of our exes have got negative things to say about us. So, we haven't seen Bivol do anything like pull out of fights because of injury, or there's nothing in his fights that indicate he's struggling with pain. So, yeah, I'd have to put that down to the missus being scorned. So,
yeah, a woman scorned is a dangerous woman, mate.
There's nothing like him.
There's nothing like him.
We'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
Scary world, mate. Why do you wear my cap so low, bro? You know what I mean?
Don't bring me on that panel.
I don't want that, bro. Right, Mr. Johansson, what's your prediction on the main event of the evening? Beterbiev Bivol, the biggest fight of a generation. This is the one. This is the chosen one by His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Saturday night. It cannot fail to entertain. What's your thoughts, big man?
We have waiting for this fight for 7 years. Without Riyadh season, this fight would never happen. So I'm so glad that we can see this fight, and because Bivol and Beterbiev are not that fighters that sell fights, and so for Saudi. It's great that we can have this fight. This is the best fight in boxing, in my opinion.
I agree completely, mate. So who's going to knock who out and when?
I think Bivol is like he showed against Canelo. So I think Bivol is too good and too technical good, and I think he will survive Beterbiev's onslaught to knock him out and take it on a unanimous decision.
Lovely. Thank you, Håkan. Right, we're just going to get to a couple of comments, lads, and I'll let you all get back to your evening, because I'm sure you got better things to do than be sat here talking to me. Right, they're both going to have life or death in this fight, says Carl Widow. Liam Tully has said, evening, lads. Good evening to yourself, good man. SW Fight Hub, big up and check out his channel, mate. Absolute fantastic channel. Him and Jay's Fight Talks and Liam Tully do some amazing stuff on there. They do no punches pulled every Wednesday. Absolutely fantastic. Just takes one for Artur. Bivol up on the cards, then gets caught for me. So he's thinking Artur Beterbiev's going to knock man out. Thank you, Sammy. Liam Tully has said, I can see this being a Wilder Fury 1 kind of fight. Bivol outboxing Beterbiev, but having to get up off the canvas at least once. We've got Antonio Myers. Thank you for joining, my good man. Please hit that subscribe button if you don't already. He said, I think Bivol switches into another gear in this one. I agree with you, mate. I really do. I think we're going to see a new Bivol. I think he's going to take this comfortably. And Mr. Widow has said, did Ra just talk about his ex and pulls out the same comments? Laugh out loud. I don't think he was talking about his own ex, mate, but thank you for picking up on that, Mr. Widow.
Trust Carl.
Anyway, right, lads, thank you so much for joining me. I've had a great time, mate. It's the first time I've been back in 3 weeks. I've been under the weather, so I've really appreciated it. It's been immense. Thank you to the boxing man. Follow him on all his socials. Thank you to Birmingham's finest, Mr. Darren Aston. Follow him on X. It's Aston Darren. And thank you to Mr. Ra Hokum, which is Ra_Hokum on X. And I'm sure he's on Instagram and Facebook because he's a popular motherfucker, this guy. And we've got Håkan Johansson all the way from Sweden. Best way to find him is Johansson, because if you put Håkan, it won't come up. So thank you, lads. I appreciate every single one of you. And on that note, gonna love you and leave you. Good night, all.